Alrighty, YouTube. Battery's about to die. I wanted to make a quick, kind of a response video because I do get this comment quite often on my channel because some people just view my channel, my content, the way I present myself as being somewhat abrasive and cold and blunt and kind of not necessarily rude, but it is what it is. I don't really care. The beautiful thing about YouTube is there's millions of channels. If you don't like mine, you can find someone else's. But, you know, I get this comment often from these New Age people where they say that it doesn't matter that we're being poisoned through the food supply. It doesn't matter that they're spraying chemtrails. It doesn't matter that the water supply is poisoned. The media is poisoned, you name it. And that by us talking about the fact that we're being poisoned, you know, gives them power. And that's the reason why they have power over us. I mean, come on. We are in a eugenics war here, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a chemical warfare. For us not to acknowledge the fact that we're being poisoned means that chances are we're still consuming this shit because we're ignorant to the fact that there's constituents in these foods, the water supply, you name it, in the air that's poisoning us. I want to know my enemy better than he or she knows his or herself. And to me, one of the greatest ways that they're weaponizing, or they're attacking us, is they're weaponizing the food. They're weaponizing the water. So, you know, to these people who say it doesn't matter that they're poisoning us, are you crazy? Are you crazy? I'm just curious, because that sounds like a crazy thing to me to say that. It doesn't matter that they're poisoning us? It doesn't matter that there's constituents in the water that increase the chance of cancer 7 to 10-fold. It doesn't matter that there's constituents in the water that will destroy the gut flora of your system. It doesn't matter that there's constituents in the food supply that will destroy your hormones and just get your system completely out of whack, your chemical balances, you name it. It doesn't matter. If we focus on it, it's just going to give them power. No, by focusing on it, we can fine-tune our focus. By focusing on it, we can fine-tune our awareness as to what we should be eating and what we should not be eating. The only way that the masses are going to become cognizant and privy to the fact that they're eating foods that are destroying their health is if we inform them. And you don't inform people by keeping your mouth shut. In many cases, silence is golden, but in many cases, spreading the word is how we fight back against this beast. Come on. I'm so tired of New Age rehashed phrasisms. Don't talk about that, man. We're love and light, bro. It's all good. We're all going back to the source. Eat what you want. Doesn't matter. These foods, everything's an illusion. No, I hate to tell you, it's not. I derive much benefit. I derive much satiation and satisfaction from studying my enemy, from studying the things like the estrogen mimickers and all the chloramines, the chlorine compounds, the radioactive elements in the water, not to mention that, all the stuff in the air. Only once we get a firm grasp on what's attacking us and what's accumulating in us can we fight back and remove these things from our lives, these unnecessary toxicities. So a lot of people go, oh, you don't want to focus too much on that, you'll get into a fear-based mentality. That's not fear-based mentality. A fear-based mentality would be not acknowledging the truth because it makes your life easier. Like, oh, if I focus on the fact that I need to change my diet, that just means that I'm being fear-based because, you know, this and that. No. A fear-based mentality would be, I'm not going to focus on the truth because it would make my life difficult. I mean, come on. Are we that pampered of a culture? Are we? Because I don't want to be part of that culture. Absolutely not. I'll tread my own path. You only live once, bro. Just eat whatever you want. No. In my opinion, there's huge karmic reactions to what we put onto our plate and into our goddamn stomachs. So, we will all reign supreme in the end. The prophecy has been foretold. It doesn't matter what you eat. Just be love and light. That sounds all great and everything, but the prophecy has been... It's like people have bought into this idea that the destiny of mankind has already been predetermined and that all they have to do is enjoy themselves and just ride it out. I mean, come on. It's all about love and light, man. To peace. Well, what about all the children that had their bodies decimated and blown to bits by bombs? Where was the love and light for them? It's like people are just so self-centered where it's all about them. They don't acknowledge any of the hell here in this world because that would make life too much of a responsibility on their shoulders. It's such a heavy burden to be the one who acknowledges the truth. It's such a heavy burden. I get to go to work. I get to hang out by the water cooler. I get to, make my car payments. I get to live in a society where there's police watching, taking care of me, and I feel protected. I have my gated community and all this. It's easy to have a self-centered view of reality when you live in a comfort bubble that 90% of the people on the globe don't have for the fucking privilege of having. Selfish. Not even gonna say it. And at the end of the day, I don't mind getting these comments. In fact, I love getting comments because it gives me an excuse to make videos. A lot of my videos are me just responding to comments, questions, you name it. So thank you. And I don't think it's a bad comment. I mean, if that's what you believe, then go for it. Chances are, if I were to assess the people's diets who are making these claims, they're probably eating a bunch of shit. A lot of times, people who tell me that, you can't focus on this, you just got to enjoy life, you can't worry too much about food, these are people who eat nothing but shit. And usually this is just an escape mentality from these people so that they don't harbor any guilt from their sedentary, non-healthy lifestyle. So, I mean, people who are chronically obese and are okay with it, you don't need to exercise, I'm going to die anyway, YOLO. I'm focusing on being happy in life. I mean, at some point, many of the thoughts and beliefs that people have about themselves are just kind of excuse mechanisms. Now, I'm not bashing people who are obese. No, I mean, if you want to be obese, if it makes you happy, go for it. I've been there. I've done that. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that once you clean your life up, once you get this excess adipose tissue, also known as fat, off your body, off your chassis, it's going to make your life a lot more enjoyable. Your range of motion is going to improve. I mean, there's a large body of empirical evidence showing that excess adiposity, excess fat, hinders lifespan and does damage to the heart, does damage to the bones, does damage to the cartilage. Come on, man. Everyone wants a free ride where it's like, I don't know how to explain it. There's a certain emotion I'm feeling. I don't know how to put it into words. Where it's like, oh, I'm bad. I'm the bad guy because I say that excess fat is bad. But am I hurting people's feelings who are overweight? That's not my intention. I've been to almost 300 pounds. I know what it's like to be overweight. I know what it was like in summer, in the hot heat, the 101 to 103 degree summers, to have 30 to 40, 50, 60 pounds of excess fat on my system, to feel all the sweat in my rolls. How the excess fat affected my skin, my complexion. It was no fun. So I did some work. I lost the weight. I lost 100 pounds in just about a year riding a bike and eating healthy. I got myself to a point where I could remember just how good it felt to be thin, to be agile. You lose weight, you're going to increase your ability to have your range of motion. You're going to be able to stretch better. You're going to be able to breathe deeper. There's going to be less weight on your spinal system. You're not going to be as hunched over. Now, the greatest way for you to lose weight, in my opinion, is to get yourself a bicycle. You go down to a bike shop, get yourself fitted so you can find out what size of frame you need so that you don't do damage to your knees. You name it. You get yourself fitted professionally. It's probably under $20. Might even be free at some places. And you buy yourself a bike. You invest $500 to $1,000. You get yourself a goddamn bike, and you start riding that thing. You get yourself an MP3 player. You put your favorite music on it, music that makes you feel uplifted and like you want to move, and you go ride around town. Due to the fact that when I was close to 300 pounds, I was incredibly sedentary, just me riding my bike, my single-speed bike, from my house to my friend Daniel's house 3 times a week, I lost like 40 pounds in like 3 months. As crazy as that sounds. And I was still eating a lot of shit. I was eating tons of peanut butter. I was eating at least 2,300 calories a day or more. So the thing about when you have a lot of weight you need to lose, if you're really sedentary, once you start moving more, it just starts to shed. You start to shed weight really rapidly. The more overweight you are, the faster you're going to lose that initial. How would I say it? When you have a lot of fat on your body, when you start exercising and eating healthy, it's really easy to lose weight. It's once you get down to a certain body fat percentage, or you have just a thin layer of adiposity over your stomach muscles, your hips, you name it. Those regions of fat become very difficult to burn. It's very doable, but they become much more difficult than losing the initial 20 pounds in 2 months or 1 month from just increasing your mobility, increasing your exercise, you know? So, I mean, come on, there's no excuses, you guys. It's 2017. If you have things in your life that you know you need to change, if you want to get healthy, stop postponing it. I did that for years. You know, it's not going to do you any good to just postpone the inevitable. Bite the bullet, do what you need to do, have fun. Don't get too caught up in beating yourself up, however. I mean, if you get into this exercise thing, don't be so rigid that you don't have like a cheat day. So for me, every Sunday is my cheat day. My mom makes a huge meal, vegan meal. I consume a lot of calories on Sunday. But that's my cherry on top for a week of successful dieting and exercise. And as the heat intensifies here in California, as the rain dissipates, thank God, as the cold weather dissipates, thank God, I am a solar being. I crave the heat. I'm like a reptile. I need a heat source. As the weather gets nicer every year, my exercise comes back, and it's the most blissful experience right now, because I just got a new bike. It's in the mail. It's on its way. I'm super stoked. I cracked the frame of my old bike because I beat the shit out of my bikes. I'm a cycling junkie. I love to bike. It is the greatest way to lose weight. It's one of the greatest ways to make... You got to remember, you guys, there's been studies that show that people who have depression or ADHD, things of that nature, certain mental pathologies, they've shown that exercise actually stimulates the parts of the brain that drugs use to treat depression, you name it, ADHD, whatnot. It affects the brain, exercise, in the same way that these drugs do, but it's in a salubrious manner. So, to me, a lot of people who are depressed, you guys, I've talked to them. I was one myself. When I was my most depressed, I was getting hardly any exercise, and I was eating way too much. And even though when I went through depression and I was a vegetarian and at one time a vegan, I was eating too much. My depression really started to minimize once I stopped eating so much and I got into intermittent fasting. So, I mean, you can be a healthy motherfucker. You can have a healthy diet, but you can eat way too much food, in my opinion. These are my own beliefs based on my own experiences. Some people thrive on excessive carbohydrates, eating a ton throughout the day. Personally, I don't like that. For me, I want to be able to operate on the least amount of fuel that I can operate on while still getting a ton of energy. Who wants to have to eat all day, man? Who wants to have to carry a bunch of fucking undigested food around themselves all day? That to me is an attachment to the physical world. That means I have like an anchor on me, so to speak. Now I love eating, don't get me wrong, but there's a way that you can eat where you can satiate and satisfy yourself, where you don't feel heavy and chained down from the foods. Anyways, this battery is on its last leg. I love you guys. I'm going to look and see if I have another battery. If I do, I'll continue this rant. But if not, I'm out like sauerkraut. Are you guys interested in the Sacred Serpent YouTube channel? Do you want more bonus content that you will never find here publicly? If so, go over to www.patreon.com/Sacred Serpent and check out my Patreon page. For $5 a month, you get anywhere from 2 to 6 hours or more of bonus video content that you will never find here on the public YouTube channel. You will also gain access to a community section where you can ask me questions and receive prompt replies. You can talk amongst other patrons. And I'm also doing a lot of posting in regards to what I'm eating. I'm posting recipes, exercises, all sorts of stuff. So it's a really fun outlet. And again, if you guys are interested in my channel and you do indeed want more content, donkey, go over again to www.patreon.com/Sacred Serpent. Peace be with you.